miles of Kentucky alone. I'm monitoring the situation very closely since early this morning. This is likely to be one of the largest tornado outbreaks in our history. Earlier today, I called the governors of the states that have been experiencing severe impacts of the storms, including Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, as well as Tennessee. And I also spoke with Minority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. Governor Beshear and I started off the morning together, and he said, as I was watching it on television while talking to him, like all of you have, and his comment was, it looks like a war zone, but worse. Jill and I pray, and I sincerely mean this, pray for those who've lost loved ones and for those who are uncertain of the fate of their loved ones and the debris that you see scattered all over the hurricane's path. They lost their homes, they lost their businesses, and it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And we still don't know how many lives are lost or the full extent of the damage. But I want to emphasize what I told all the governors. The federal government will do everything it can possibly do to help. I've spoken several times a day with the head of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, as well as the director of FEMA, who's already deployed emergency response personnel to these states, search and rescue teams, water and other supplies, and FEMA is on the ground working with each of the states to assess the damages and focus on federal support where it is needed most and how we can get it there most rapidly. I also, and apparently it has just been announced, but I also approved the emergency declaration that was requested a couple of hours ago by Governor Beshear of Kentucky. That's going to accelerate federal emergency assistance for Kentucky right now when it's urgently needed. And I stand ready to do the same for the governors of the other states, and I've made it clear to them if they request emergency declarations. I've also requested that FEMA offer additional federal resources, including help with temporary housing where homes have been wiped out or too badly damaged to live in. And I also asked FEMA director to let the states know what they may not be aware of, what they may be entitled to, because they don't necessarily know all that's available from the federal end. We're going to continue to receive, I personally am receiving regular updates, and my staff is continuing to reach out to the mayors, the county officials, and other local leaders in these states affected by the tornadoes. And my heart goes out. I was told that earlier this morning that one of the equivalent of a county executive, one of the folks in Kentucky, was lost in this tornado. I want folks in all these states to know we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together, and the federal government is not going to walk away. This is one of those times when we aren't Democrats or Republicans. Sounds like hyperbole, but it's real. We're all Americans. We stand together as the United States of America. And so I say to all the victims, you're in our prayers, and all those first responders, emergency personnel, and everyone helping their fellow Americans, that this is the right thing to do at the right time, and we're going to get through this. And I'll be happy to take a question or two if you have any about this.
Does this say anything to you about climate change? Or do you conclude that these storms and the intensity have to do with climate change?
Well, all that I know is that the intensity of the weather across the board has some impact as a consequence of the warming of the planet and the climate change. The specific impact on these specific storms, I can't say at this point. I'm going to be asking the EPA and others to take a look at that. But the fact is that we all know everything is more intense when the climate is warming, everything. And obviously it has some impact here, but I can't give you a quantitative read on that.
Mr. President, do you have any plans to visit any of the affected areas this week? And are you
Yes, I do. I spoke with, I started off this morning with the governor of Kentucky and offered to, I said I'll be happy to come, but I don't want to be in the way. When a president shows up, he shows up with an awful lot of personnel, an awful lot of vehicles, an awful lot of, we can get in the way unintentionally. And so what I'm working with the governor of Kentucky and others who may want me to be there is I may make sure that we are value added at the time and we're not going to get in the way of the rescue and recovery. But I do plan on going.
Are you going to ask Congress to approve any other disaster relief money from the
Well, we'll see. Whatever is needed, I'm going to ask for. If we don't already have the wherewithal to take care of it, I'm going to ask for it. This is the United States of America. Our citizens are badly, badly hurt, and they're scared to death right now in terms of all those folks who they can't figure where they are. Where's my son? Where's my daughter, my husband, my wife, my mom, my dad? It's devastating. Yes, you have the question, sir.
Is there a role for the federal government in coordinating direct on-the-ground response, whether it be direct National Guard or federal troops that can be helpful?
The answer is yes, if in fact the states conclude they need it. And so the National Guard has been called out in one state, but whatever is needed, it's within the authority of the President of the United States and the federal government to provide that help. And we're going to provide whatever is needed. I think we've demonstrated since we've been elected that every major national disaster, we have been there early, often, and stayed till we got it finished. And that's what we're going to do here. But again, I think what I've found as I've visited these disaster areas in other circumstances, whether it was the hurricane in Louisiana or the gigantic flooding in the Northeast or the wildfires in the West, is the real anxiety right now is all those poor people who are wondering, where is my loved one? Where are they? Are they going to be okay? And I don't think it's possible to exaggerate the extent of the fear and the concern. And we have a lot of people that are going in doing rescue running machines, bulldozers, forklifts, and the like. And the way in which I've watched it down in when the building collapsed in Florida, I watched how it takes a toll on them. God, am I gonna lift something? It's gonna move something. It's gonna fix something. And so